I'm Greg Jarrett, and you're in the strategy room. The White House is using all of its resources right now to try to sell Democrats on Capitol Hill at the Iran nuclear deal. Several influential members of the party, however, including Senator Chuck Schumer, have voiced reservations about the deal. Here now with reaction are Stephen Sigmund, Executive Director of Global Gateway Alliance. Liz Peek joins us, columnist with the Fiscal Times. Good to see you both.
Thanks for having us.
It's not just Chuck Schumer, but on the other side of the Capitol in the House of Representatives, I spoke with Congressman Brad Sherman today. He's on the Foreign Relations Committee. Secretary of State John Kerry is going to be testifying next week. Yeah. And he said the really ugly part of this deal, and he's a Democrat, is that it does nothing to stop Iran from having breakout capacity to build a weapon 10 years from now, and that's his serious concern. Democrats are really speaking up, aren't they?
Yeah, look, I think what you have here is a deal that's good but not perfect, right? Mm-hmm. And so what the administration is trying to do is not let the perfect be the enemy of the good. I think ultimately Chuck Schumer, Brad Sherman, other Democrats will support this, and therefore give it it won't actually be disapproved by Congress and force the president to veto it. But look, I think Republicans are, they would be against an agreement that the sky is blue at this point if it helped Barack Obama. But I think Democrats have appropriate reservations about it, and they're gonna take a look at it. But what you have to look at is the other side of it, right? They made an agreement that in fact does stop Iran's nuclear capacity and gives inspection capacity, right? Not perfect by any stretch.
Yeah, you got to wait 24 days on any suspicious covert site.
Well, any site that they suspect of being, they have immediate access to all of the existing nuclear sites.
They know about the existing sites. It's the one you
Correct.
don't know about.
Right, which you have zero access to right now. So that's the point is, what you could have done is stuck with the status quo, right? And the status quo was a nuclear arms race in the Mideast, and that's just not a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, the president did put it yesterday the way that was just described, and that is that what's the alternative? War?
Well, let's talk about the fact that we presumably have stopped a nuclear arms race in the Middle East, because I think the truth is anything but. What we've seen is already the Saudis meeting with the Pakistanis to further investigations about what kind of effort they could raise towards building their own nuclear facilities, et cetera. I don't think that's really going to be the outcome. I think you're going to see more interest in having nuclear armaments in the Middle East from the Gulf states, who can afford it, by the way, as a result of this deal. But going back to the pitch that Obama has to make to Congress, I think we saw yesterday, first of all, he's sending Joe Biden to do it, which is a very good decision because people like Joe Biden. And the last time the president went to pitch Congress on something, which was the trade agreement, he really alienated
Joe Biden
people.
spent almost 40 years on
Yes,
Capitol
but
Hill,
he's
so
also
he is
not
the appropriate
thin-skinned
person.
and arrogant about it, which this president is. Yesterday in the press conference, we saw him very defensive. He knows this isn't a great deal in terms of the verification procedures. He knows that a lot was left undone. For example, Iran was never called to account on research and development they've been doing for years on delivery systems for nuclear weapons. If it's a peaceful system, why do that kind of research? We all know the flaws in the deal. I think it eventually is going to pass. I don't pass in the sense that it will get done, because the Democrats are not going to rally in such numbers against it to override a veto. But I do think that Schumer, Menendez is the other one who's, by the way, very much opposed to it and been leading the charge on that. But Schumer and some others are going to have a little bit of a hard time explaining to the Israeli lobby, right, and it's a pretty strong lobby and very, very much a backer of Schumer, how it is that they're going to go along with this.
You know, it was 2 years ago, Secretary of State John Kerry appeared before Congress, and he said to them, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to force Iran, this is a quote, to dismantle its nuclear program under the planned agreement that they were pitching. Well, this agreement doesn't do that.
Yeah, of course it does.
No, it doesn't. There's still spinning centrifuges. No facilities are being dismantled.
Spinning centrifuges that can't produce
only
nuclear armaments. Right. At the moment, it would take them 2 months. And what this agreement does is make sure they don't have breakout capacity for a year. Look, again, the agreement's not perfect, but it's better than the alternative. The problem that Republicans have on this issue and on issue after issue, frankly, is their alternative is nothing. Their alternative is keep the status quo. And the status quo is not an acceptable alternative either in the Middle East or in the United States.
You know, listen, a lot of people are very suspicious that all the Iranians really want is to get $150 billion in lifted, sanctions and frozen assets. Once they get that,
Well, that's
they're
right.
free to violate with impunity, aren't they?
And,
Well,
and then
and-
they have
and
a
I
clawback, and the agreement becomes
can't
void.
snap back that you've
There's
already
no
spent.
snapback
you can.
provision.
How do
There's
you
no
snap it
snapback
back?
because you're never going to get the UN to agree. There are too many vested interests basically on the other side of snapback and on the other side of curtailing arms shipments to Iran, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, I think that I think the American people are the people who really have to be sold on this deal.
Right.
And what they know is there are 4 American hostages still being held in Iran, and that was the point that really got under Obama's skin yesterday. But hey, people kind of thought if we're going to give Iran $150 billion, yeah, we'd like to see some gesture from Iran that they basically don't hate America and aren't going to spend this money in causes, whether it's in Yemen or Lebanon or wherever, where Americans are going to end up getting hurt. And I don't think they're going to win that argument.
In every poll that you've seen on this agreement, not since this, no polling has been done since the actual agreement, but the terms of the agreement, which were very much the terms that ended up being the agreement.
That's true.
The American people have supported it as much as 65%.
They have supported, but they've been given a false choice, just as Obama has given a false choice of going to
They've been
war
given the terms
or
of the
having
deal.
this deal. No.
right.
That was the
They're asked the
alternative.
terms of the deal and they support it.
Anyway, we can talk
We
about
didn't
this
even
later.
know the terms of the deal until 2 days ago. So,
They've been almost essentially the same for the last 3 months.
Stephen, Sigmund, and Liz Peek, thanks very much. Check out foxnews.com for more on this developing story. I'm Greg Jarrett. Thanks for watching.